radio station.
Well, we're back with more Guts, Gospel United Saved, bringing you the information needed for transformation within South Florida and all over the world. A variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki V, and we do thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. 30 ways in 30 days to pray for people in authority. And we're praying for our judges, our educators, our police chiefs, our school board members, military officers, elected officials, and those who serve our country by leading. We are dealing with this meditation for today, and that is that those who are in leadership would read the Bible and attend prayer meetings and Bible studies. Yes, that's right. We are encouraging and we are praying for and we are praying that those who are in leadership would do that, be in Bible studies, be in prayer meetings, find themselves hungering and thirsting after righteousness, that they might be filled. Now, we do thank God for each and every one of you tuning into the broadcast. We're going to go back to Paul and his sails for Rome, where he survives a shipwreck. And we are in the book of Acts, chapter 1 and chapter 27, verses 1 and 2, and then verses 33 through 44. The first and second verse of chapter 27 reads like this. And when it was determined that we should sail into Italy, they delivered Paul and certain other prisoners unto one named Julius, a centurion of Augustus's band. And entering into a ship of Adramyttium, we launched, meaning to sail by the coast of Asia, one Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica, being with us. And now, dropping down to the 33rd verse, reading all the way to the 44th verse. And while the day was coming on, Paul besought them all to take meat, saying, This day is the 14th day, that ye have tarried and continued fasting, having taken nothing. Wherefore I pray you take some meat, for this is your health, for there shall not be an hair fall from the head of any of you. And when he had thus spoken, he took the bread and gave thanks to God in presence of them all. And when he had broken it, he began to eat. Then were they all of good cheer, and they also took some meat. And we were in all the ship 260 souls. And when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship and cast out the wheat unto the sea. And when it was day, they knew not the land, but they discovered a certain creek with a shore, into which they were minded, if it were possible, to thrust in the ship. And when they had taken up the anchors, they committed themselves unto the sea, and loosened the rudder bands, and hoised up the mainsail to the wind, and made toward shore. And falling into a place where two seas met, they ran the ship aground, and the fore parts stuck fast, and remained unmovable. But the hinder part was broken with the violence of the waves. And the soldiers' counsel was to kill the prisoners, lest any of them should swim out and escape. But the centurion, willing to save Paul, kept them from their purpose, and commanded that they which could swim should cast themselves first into the sea, and get to the land, and the rest some on boards and some on broken pieces of the ship. And so it came to pass that they escaped all safe to land. So here we have it. Paul sails for Rome and survives a shipwreck, survives an onslaught, survives the what would be considered most certainly a death experience that should be brought to him. And so it came to pass they escaped all safe to the land. Yep, that's what happened. So, here we have it. Let me just share with you a little story. Things that happen when you least expect it. First of all, do you like surprises? It depends on what kind of surprise, does it not? We like the surprise of finding money in the back of a drawer or discovering that our friends have thrown us a surprise birthday party. We do not like the surprise of learning that we have a serious illness or that a friend has passed away. Sometimes the surprise is not in what happens, but in what it turns out to mean. A person might get the unhappy surprise of losing a job, But later that person might realize that the job they lost led to something better. The first surprise may seem much different with a new perspective. In this series, it's about an event that was a surprise for some, but thanks to God's action, it was a surprise that turned out much differently from what anyone except Paul expected. We might have lots of surprises in our lives, things that happen that we aren't exactly sure of how it's going to turn out, but yet it turns out. It works for our good. So, why do we fret when things happen in our lives? We should be able to relax in God, but we've lost our understanding of how to relax in Him. We're not sure what to do anymore in terms of what we need to do to relax in Him. So I want to remind you, while we have a moment here, that on this Friday, November 9th, at the Fort Lauderdale Church of God in Christ, we're going to have a great service. It's going to be lots of fun, and it's going to be a great relaxation and a great fellowship. And we're encouraging as many of you who can and will to please come out. It's at 7:30 p.m., and it's at the Fort Lauderdale Church of God in Christ, 744 Northwest 12th Avenue in the city of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Undisputed Proof is going to be there, and he's a local rap artist, and he does a fabulous job, and so we're encouraging you all to join us. As a matter of fact, on Saturday, we'll be interviewing him, and we'll be talking to him at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So many of you who would like to know more about Undisputed Proof, it'd be great for you to join us for that occasion. We do thank God again for each and every one of you tuning into the broadcast and being a part of what God is doing right here and right now. You are tuned into Guts, Gospel United Saved, bringing the information for transformation within South Florida and all over the world. A variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. And with the days that we have left, today we began at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, which is Friday, we will begin at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We begin at 10 a.m. on Saturday with the Rob Lambden's University Dodge live show. And then at 10:30, Guts Gospel United Saved weekend wrap up. This week we're doing an interview with Undisputed Truth. So we hope that you again will be able to join in with us. By the way, the number you can call to be a part of this broadcast is 877-217-5375. That's 877-217-5375. Maybe you've got some comments or some thoughts that you'd like to share with us. Maybe you have a prayer request. You can text it to 954-554-6755. That's 954-554-6755. And you can always visit us and catch up with whatever you may have missed or something that you'd like to listen to again at gutsay.com. That's GUTSAY.com. Gutsay.com. And we do thank God for you all tuning into the broadcast and being a part of what God is doing right here and right now, and that you might have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. We are in our series, Paul Sails for Rome and Survives a Shipwreck, and we thank God for that. We'll be dealing with that on these 2 days, and hopefully we'll be able to come to a conclusion. I want to let you know that arrested after preaching the gospel in Jerusalem, Paul exercised his right as a Roman citizen and requested a trial before Caesar. Within days, the weather became stormy and the trip dangerous. Paul warned Julius, the centurion guarding the prisoners, of danger due to weather ahead. Julius, of course, ignored the warning, and the ship continued to sail until it encountered a hurricane-like windstorm. Sometimes we don't want to listen because we don't want to obey, because the people who are talking to us seem to be beneath us. But that's not the way we ought to do it. We ought to listen and see if we can hear the voice of God. So one of the things that we're hoping to accomplish as we go through this series, and we're going to have to take a break, but we just want to transition. But we do thank God for you all tuning into the broadcast. And the thing that we'd like to accomplish is that we will appreciate how our relationship with God helps us navigate the storms of life. Nothing has to catch you unaware if you will listen to the voice of God. You'll know what's getting ready to happen. You'll know what's around the corner. Now, it may not always be the most pleasant thing, but you'll already be prepared. So you can either avoid it or you can head on. But one way or another, God does prepare us for what's coming up. We just need to listen to the signs or hear his voice or heed his call. So that is entirely up to us. We have to make that decision. We have to make that choice. But if we don't make it, we've made a choice, which is that we don't want to listen to God. So we'll receive whatever is coming our way. Once again, we'd like to thank you for tuning into the broadcast. You are tuned into Guts, Gospel United to Save, bringing you the information needed for transformation within South Florida and all over the world. A variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. We'll be right back after this. Whether you're looking for a new Dodge car, truck, SUV, or minivan, or a certified used vehicle, Rob Lambden's University Dodge is dedicated to providing you with the service you deserve. Stop by the dealership today and ask for Reverend Ronald T. Young, because you're only 15 minutes away from a great deal. That's Rob Lambden's University Dodge, 5455 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. The number to call, 954-434-5995. That's 954-434-5995. Or you can contact Reverend Ronald T. Young directly by calling 305-910-7124. That's 305-910-7124. Remember, ask for Reverend Ronald T. Young.
This is our slogan. We say that HIV/AIDS stops with me. If you can say this, and then you can be able to take a stand with us that says, if I have HIV/AIDS, I will not spread it. And if I don't have HIV/AIDS, I will not acquire it. HIV/AIDS stops with me. Brought to you by Collaboration for Restoring Families Incorporated and this radio station. Together, we can.
WEXY, Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, a service of Multicultural Broadcasting, Incorporated. The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are those of the advertisers and not necessarily those of WEXY, its staff, or management.